All right, guys, we are finally back with a podcast episode.
Did you miss us?
It has been almost a month of no podcast, which is probably the longest we have gone since starting this podcast without a podcast episode. Will, all I'm saying is we're never doing that again.
Oh, yeah. Were you going through withdrawals like I was going through?
Yeah, definitely, because there's so much stuff that happened in the time that we were gone.
Yeah, like
and
what?
It's way too much to cover in one episode.
Okay, well, we're gonna try our best. But I mean, what were you up to this past month?
Well, okay, so I had Nationals. So before Nationals, that's when we got our podcast episode up. I think I literally published it the day I was leaving for Nationals. So I went through Nationals, and then after Nationals, I got sick, with the flu.
Me too.
I was really sick for a week. Yeah, so I was sick. Then after that, had Thanksgiving where I went to Kansas. And then while I was in Kansas, you were sick in Denmark, right?
I was in Norway for Denmark and Norway for my friend's birthday, and she was like launching her online tech startup. And I was sick. It was horrible. I mean, it was cool
you had
going,
the same
but
thing I did.
How did we have the same thing? I didn't even see you. Like, how did I catch whatever you're getting?
It's because literally everyone I know got the same thing. Even in Kansas, one of the people I was going to play with.
Yeah.
Like, right as I got there, she was like, yeah, I'm sick with like a flu. And I was like, yeah, does everything hurt and you don't want to get out of bed? And she was like, yep.
Yeah, no. When I was in Norway, I was so sick. I was so cold and shivering so hard that it ached. Like my body was aching. Like I felt like I just got pelted by a bunch of paintballs or pickleballs. Like, you're just there smacking them at me. I was like, oh my gosh, why does it hurt so bad?
It was so bad.
Okay.
Yeah. And then once I got back from Thanksgiving, you were still like with family out of town and whatnot. So it's like just a perfect storm of, we thought we were going to get a podcast episode in before you left, but then I got so sick that I was like, dude, there's no way I can record a podcast episode. So
it's all good.
It was, we're officially back. And we're never doing that again. So,
The not getting sick part for sure.
Yes. Oh, I hate getting sick, dude. I only get sick like once a year, maybe every other year. But when I get sick, I just go completely down. Like, it's not a minor thing.
Yeah, no, same here. Well, you're not here. You guys aren't here to listen about our health woes. You're here to hear us talk about pickleball.
They don't care if I'm sick. They just want to hear about the paddle reviews and the pickleball news. So we'll give the people what they want.
Yes. All right. What do you got on the list? What's on the docket?
Yeah, so we're going to get to my experience at Nationals, which was pretty fun. But real quick, I just want to recap a couple paddles because people have been asking a bunch of questions about these. So before I get to my full reviews, we'll just kind of run through these quick. So X-Spac, which is that Amazon-branded paddle, raw carbon fiber face, has the worst marketing I've ever seen in my entire life.
They have marketing? Because I haven't heard about it until you told me about it.
Dude, I think you did see it, but you might have forgot, actually. Remember those pictures that were floating around of like Roger Federer, Djokovic, and like Nadal holding a pickleball paddle?
Oh, yes.
It's that one.
Oh, no way.
That's the company. Yeah.
Oh, so that's hilarious. Props to them.
It's really bad marketing. Yeah.
But it's about, wait, no, are you, I mean, okay, so the quality is bad, but it worked because it got people talking about it.
No. I don't even know if that worked. What got people talking about it was that it was a raw carbon fiber paddle for $90.
Oh my gosh. Okay.
Okay. Yeah. So I had a friend here who had it. They let me try it. I had an old carbon one, virtually indistinguishable. I mean, I think you are splitting very small hairs to even come up with differences. At $90, easily the best paddle you can buy at that price range. Wow. Like, I mean, your competition at that point is an Onyx Z5 or a Franklin Signature. So,
high praise
the
coming from you.
unfortunate thing is, as soon as I played with this paddle and put this thing out on Instagram about it, people messaged me like, dude, where is it? Like, I can't find it. And it's not on Amazon right now. So
really?
I have no idea where it went. My guess is they sold out and it'll be back. So I'll keep people updated. But if you're looking for someone that needs a budget paddle and it needs to perform well, just go buy that. That will be your best paddle for $90.
Okay. What else you got?
So that was good. Black Ace, I just wanted to say, Will, you were wrong.
What?
Black Ace does not suck.
Well, I never said it sucked. I just said it wasn't for me. I don't
Whoa,
think it was for
yo,
you.
it was in your top 5 least favorite paddles list in the last
that doesn't
podcast
just because it's in my top 5 least favorite doesn't mean that it sucks. I think paddles can be good, and I just don't like it. But.
Okay, that's fair. That's how I feel about the gearbox. So I'll give you a break.
Okay. Okay.
But I thought it was pretty good. I have a couple quick early thoughts on it. It hits like a truck. It's easily as powerful as a Power Air. Might be as powerful as a 002, but it's in a slimmer frame. Spin, I didn't get to test it, but it didn't feel that great. It hits so hard that I don't think it has enough spin to keep it in the court. Like the 002 has such crazy amounts of spin that it doesn't really matter how hard you hit it.
Yeah.
With the Black Ace, it was so easy to hit it out. Like I just felt like I could not get the ball to land when I would like drive it in singles.
Maybe you're just not good enough.
Well, the guy I was hitting with is a 5
kidding.
David Dutrell. He also had the same issue. So, I mean,
oh, okay.
You want to say David's not good too, you know?
No, David's very good.
I will say, though, I said, hey, David, give me a couple overheads with this thing. And I hit a couple overheads, and he goes, dude, I'm not going to lie to you. I've never been scared of one of your overheads ever. But that ball was really hard. So I thought that was pretty great. So $250, it'll be interesting. I think it's a pretty good paddle. One thing that most of us have been talking about is I don't feel like you sacrifice that much dinking compared to like a 002. I feel like it resets a little better than one of those. Still not as good as a 003 or, other soft paddle, but it's pretty good overall. So I'll be curious when I get mine and get to mess with it more, kind of what I think. But the other thing I'll leave people on is, holy cow, why on earth did they do the cheap decal around the spade thing?
You don't like it?
No, okay. It looks fine if you look at it from afar.
It looks awesome,
As soon as you get up close and touch that paddle,
yeah,
it feels like a cheap decal. Like it makes a $250 like awesome paddle look and feel like a Toys R Us paddle. Like because it feels like you could peel the decal up. Like I bet if I wanted to, I could get my fingernail under there and like peel it. So if it was not, I haven't asked them yet, but if it's not for design purposes, like paddle integrity,
yeah,
then I think that was a really, really dumb decision to do what they did. They should have just made it all raw carbon fiber and then done a black outline like how people draw on the faces.
Okay, I see what you're saying because the shape is a spade, an ace of spades that covers up, and so that part's a decal and it's a sticker. So you think you can peel that thing off? I
mean, I don't know that it would like peel easily or something, but it just like even in the time we were hitting it, I felt like I could see small gaps, and I was just looking at it going, this feels cheap. Like for $250, I would be unhappy looking at that. And I think I even a fan messaged me and said something like, yeah, people, like, I don't want to spend $250 and people would just make fun of me. Like, it just looks bad. And I just think it's weird that you're taking away hitting surface, right? I mean, you can still hit it, but it's not the gritty stuff. And people miss, so I don't know. It's a really weird thing. I'm sure I'll have more thoughts when I actually get the paddle. But first thoughts, good paddle. I think $250 is not necessarily unreasonable for it. Spin, I think, is going to be a problem, but it's very powerful. Hands battles, it'll be insane.
Okay.
And then finally, the last one, the Franklin. I will be brief with my thoughts on this one.
The Franklin? Wait, which one? The new Franklin?
The Franklin, yeah, the Franklin Carbon STK.
Oh, the blacked out one.
Yes. So I've gotten to hit it a bit. I have let other people in my area hit it, and I would say wait until my full review to buy one if you're going to buy one. And I'll leave you with this. My brother hit it last night.
Yeah.
And the first couple balls, he goes, this is absolute garbage. And one of my other buddies in the area also bought it himself and said, this is a piece of garbage. So 2 people, and I'm not overly impressed at the moment, but I'll hit it more to make sure nothing changes.
Okay, well, I guess that kind of makes sense. Who's the only people that plays with it? It's just J-Dub, right? Nobody else plays with it.
I haven't seen anyone. I mean, besides the Johnson family, I've seen no one else use it.
Huh. That's interesting.
Yeah.
Wait,
so we'll see.
Okay. Aren't there any other Franklin-sponsored players that play with it?
No, not
Wait,
that
wait,
I
wait.
can
Who,
think of.
who are the Franklin sponsored players right now? So it's the Johnson family.
That's it. That's all I've got. They
Wait.
don't have Zayn or Leia anymore.
Oh, they don't? Well,
And
actually,
Zayn
Zayn I
officially
knew.
announced he's out.
Okay,
And
okay.
then I guess Leia hasn't officially announced it, but she's been playing a Yola and like some Selkirks at every tournament she's been to recently. So I'd imagine she's out of her contract.
Okay, so I imagine that it must not be good because if Zayn, if that paddle wasn't good enough to keep Zayn and Leia, then
Yeah. Who knows, man? Maybe it's a money chase thing. Maybe paddle wasn't up to spec. I don't know, but definitely, I don't know. I'm not impressed with it, and I cannot imagine trying to play at the pro level with that thing. So
whoa,
we'll see.
Okay,
yeah,
okay.
we'll see.
All right.
But yeah, I guess I'll just recap nationals for you. It was a bummer that you couldn't be there as per usual. Everyone came up to me and said, "Where's Will?"
You actually FaceTimed me. Like somebody asked you and you actually FaceTimed me, and I was say hello to whoever it was you were talking to. I thought that was funny.
Dude, there was a couple people who were talking to me and thought you were me. Like
that's so funny.
They would call me Will, but I didn't. The first time I heard it, I just like misheard it, so I didn't really register it. The second time they said it, I was like, wait. They just called me Will, and then I just didn't have the heart at that point to tell them
that I'm Chris.
Yeah, I'm like, okay, whatever. Like, I'll just be Will. This is fine. Like,
okay.
I'm like, okay, we'll run with it.
Yeah, we'll swap it. Yeah.
Yeah. So, dude, nationals is crazy. Even if for whatever reason you don't make it in as a competitor next year, you and I should both totally go because
it was that much
nationals is leaps and bounds the best pickleball venue on earth. 49, more than 49 courts. So there was 49 courts that the amateurs used. There were warm-up pro courts, and then there was the giant center court with all the bleachers. And it was so easy to get on a court, even with matches running all day. Match finishes, you hop on, and you probably had 5 or 10 minutes before the next one showed up. So I didn't find that warming up was an issue. Courts were spaced really well. They were also all encased, so balls weren't rolling onto them.
Nice. Were they dedicated?
Water was
dedicated courts?
They weren't. So it was tennis courts that were
lined.
Like they must have been larger tennis courts because they felt like they had more space than when you do 4 courts on a regular tennis court.
Right.
But everything was like painted for. I guess it was dedicated because they were all painted for pickleball. They just resurfaced everything.
I see.
So they weren't tennis courts anymore, but you knew that a tennis court was there initially. So that was sick. I absolutely loved the venue. There was mountains in the background, so sun starts going down, and it just looks really nice. Place was huge. Really, my only complaint was the food was overpriced, but when you're in a big tennis venue, what do you expect? Like,
this is Indian Wells,
overpriced.
Right? Indian Wells, California.
Yep.
Okay.
Yep.
Yeah.
So just overpriced food. That was really my only complaint. But dude, I love the venue. It's just pickleball people everywhere. You know, you got like booths from every company there. Lots of people to say hi to. Several pros came up and said hi. Actually,
Sick.
Eric Lang listened to the podcast, the 2.5 hour podcast that I published.
Yeah.
Like that morning, I woke up, people are messaging me about it, and then Eric ran into me that day and he's like, dude, loved the podcast episode.
Heck
And
yeah.
I said, you listened to it already? And he was like, dude, I was just getting on my airplane. You had just published it, downloaded it, listened to it on my flight.
Heck
and
yeah.
I was like, oh, that's sick. I was like, that's awesome. So that was pretty sweet.
Nice guy, that Eric. Nice
Oh,
dude.
he is super nice. I got to chat with him a little bit. Seems like a really cool
Tell
dude.
him to send me his new gravity paddle so I can try it out.
I mean, I might have him soon. He might not even need Eric to send it to you.
Okay.
I mean, I know
me-
Eric's probably cooler and you want his number and not mine, but
Yes, sir.
so yeah, I'll be curious to try that out. I did get to see it at Nationals a little bit. Didn't get to hit it or anything. But it looks interesting. So yeah, venue was really cool. Singles, unfortunately, I played like I had no idea how to play this game. My first match, dude, I don't know, man. I should go back and watch the video because
you recorded it.
Yeah, I recorded 2 of my 3 games. I might have recorded all 3. I don't remember. I just played so badly. That match was so frustrating because I felt like I could beat the person. If it was any other day of the week back home, I was like, I feel like I win this match, no problem. But I mean, I just got outclassed. Like he was just beating me. I lost in 2. So it was kind of sucky to go into the losers bracket right away. Then the next guy played.
Which division did you play in?
3-5 because nationals. Now here's the best part though. Here's the best part. So I looked everyone's duper up. I did this for a bunch of brackets because I had friends in all different brackets. So everyone in my bracket, I think the lowest duper I saw was 3-7. The median duper was about 4-3. So basically, what's interesting about nationals is while everyone is sandbagging, quote unquote, it's not. Yeah. I'll give people a pass at nationals because you don't get a choice.
Yeah.
Whatever your UTPR is at the time of nationals, that's what you have to play. So you don't even get to pick whatever. It's not your fault at nationals.
Yeah. So it's
the golden qualifiers. That's your. Okay. That's where I have an issue.
I see. So basically, at national, it's a consequence of the system, right?
Yes.
In the fault.
It's totally
of the
a problem
system.
of the system.
Okay.
Because I even had friends who said, I won 4-0 at my golden qualifier. Can I please play 4-0? And they said, no, you can't. And actually, what one of my friends got told was, yeah, most of the people in your bracket weren't 4-0s at that golden qualifier, so you're still playing 3-5.
Oh.
I was like, what?
Yeah,
that's so stupid.
That is dumb. Who mentioned it? Somebody messaged us. Was it Alex? I think it was Alex Tran. Like somebody I met at minor league pickleball. I think he's talked to you or messaged us on social media. But he explained the situation over at nationals to me. I mean, he explained it to me just because I wasn't there, and I was like, oh, what's going on with these divisions and whatnot? But okay, that makes sense. Like, you don't have a choice over at nationals.
Nope, no choice. And honestly, the dupers all lined up pretty similarly. So I didn't feel that for most brackets, when you looked at it, someone was just getting absolutely blown out the water. Like it seemed like skill levels were pretty similar. My friend David, who you obviously know, he had to play 4-5 men's and 4-0 singles. 4-0 mixed. But dude, those, I'm telling you right now, there was not a single 4-5 or a single 4-0 in those divisions. Like 5-0 teams all day long. Like David and his partner, great 5-0s. Obviously, you got to play him in minor league
Lawrence.
Pickleball.
And David.
And dude, those matches were crazy. No 4-5 or 4-0 to be seen.
Wait, did they podium? Did they podium?
Yeah, they got bronze. David got bronze in men's and mixed.
David and Lawrence got bronze in a 4-5 bracket.
4-5. Yeah, but there was no 4-5 in there.
If they got bronze, that bracket must have been stacked.
Dude, yeah, it was stacked. It was watching these games. It was absolutely insane, and there was the most ridiculous fault call on David that I've ever seen. So he hit an Ernie, and he was outside the court, and then he jumped back over, like he did a reverse Ernie, and hit the ball, and the ref said, you didn't establish your feet on the second Ernie, so you get a fault. And everyone was like, what? What are you talking about? Like, I've never heard of this before. And so they argued a little bit, like respectfully. They weren't screaming or anything. But they went back and forth, and the ref was like, yeah, we got to keep the game going. Like that, it's a fault. And so later we got a head ref and asked them, they're like, that's definitely not a fault.
Establish your feet. Yeah, because if you didn't touch the kitchen line, even if you jumped it and then jumped it back, like I don't see how that's a fault.
Yeah. It was just one of those situations where everyone was scratching their head like, what on earth? So that was weird to see. But yeah, they did well. It was fun to watch. And then my second match in singles, I was down 4-11. And I was like, dude, are you kidding me? Like, am I really about to go 0-2 at nationals? I was like, that would just be very frustrating because I played a lot of singles leading up. So I was pretty excited for it. Came back, won that game. I think I won 15-13 or 16-14.
Whoa, close game. You cutting it close.
Dude, I was way closer than I would have liked that game to be. But I was happy to close that one out. I think just at the end, I have this really bad problem. And I need to find ways to get around it. But when there's pressure on a match, I don't play to win. I play not to lose, which means you lose anyways.
Yeah, eventually you lose. Right.
Eventually you lose. So I think in that second match, I was down so much that I just thought, dude, just start like smacking the ball. Just like go for stuff maybe you don't feel like you would normally go for. And then I went on a huge run and, riled off a bunch of points. I actually stopped doing my spin serve because it wasn't affecting him at all. And so I was like, it's just not worth risking it. And so at the end, I started bringing it back out because I hadn't done it. So I was hoping it would catch him off guard. Caught him off guard a couple times, then, got a couple easy points, and then went and won that one. So that was good.
Yeah, nice.
Then
Good
the
win.
third one, okay. There's a little pressure on this third one because I talked to Denim Demon. He was in my bracket.
Oh,
so we were
snap.
like, bro,
The rematch.
We got to play again. We're like all about the rematch, right? If I win the third game, we play each other next.
Oh, that would have been sick. But you did it, I guess.
Well, so I play this game, and I start the game up, and I'm up like 6-1 or something, and I'm feeling really good. I figured out very quickly, just hit to this guy's backhand. He didn't really have a backhand, so I just kept abusing his backhand over and over and over. And I don't remember what the score was later in the game. It was like maybe 12-7, 12-8 or something. I was up by a decent amount, and I was like, I got this. This is fine. And he started fixing his backhand a little bit. Like, he was running around it like crazy. Like, he was like off the left side of the court hitting a forehand. And his forehand was good enough that I really didn't want to hit there because when I did, I just got passed. So anyways, he riled off a bunch of points. I'm up 14-12. I'm like, dude, all you got to do is just like rip a spin serve. You got this. Hit a spin serve. He wins the point. I don't really remember how it played out. He riles off a bunch of great passing shots. I lose 14-16.
No,
dude.
Dagger.
The whole time I felt like I've got this. No issue. And then he earned that win. Like, I wasn't even mad because I just thought, dude, if you could hit those shots while being that tight at the end of a game, it's like, dude, you just like you deserved it more.
Yeah, sometimes it just happens. And honestly, sometimes when you're down, like the other person has match point at the end of the game, they get tight, and then you're like, okay, you play like you have nothing to lose, and then sometimes you just play loose and you just rip them. Yeah, let it rip. Yep. Beyblade, let it rip.
Basically what it did. And I got to experience a little bit how Lee Waters must have felt the day she was getting lobbed because California is real sunny. So the first half, he lobbed like twice maybe. I'm glad he didn't do it more because I would have been hosed. But I'm wearing my sunglasses too. He throws up a lob. I'm at the kitchen, and as soon as I'm about to strike the ball, gone. I don't even know where it is. This is gonna land on top of my head. So I just backed up, let it bounce, and then kind of smacked it. But dude, I had absolutely no idea where the ball was. I felt like I was about to get clowned on.
Well, at least you figured it out. Let it there to let it bounce. I mean, you figured out a way to hit it. So yeah.
Yes, exactly. I just take a step back and then bop. But yeah, so singles was unfortunate. I did have some fun chirping at Josiah or the Denim Demon. So I got to watch some of his games.
Did he win?
And he got third. Nice. And it was super fun to watch because so I found out he also wears wool socks while he plays. And
what?
Yeah, like, dude, I'm like, do you try and make this as miserable as possible for yourself? Like, I don't get it. And in the middle of one of his matches, like, it was, in between points, I was like, there was like a decent audience. I was like, guys, you're never going to believe this, but this guy wears wool socks while he plays. I bet he also wears long johns while he plays. And like everyone just starts laughing. Like just little things like that I would spit out. And then he offers his opponent some grapes in the middle of a match.
Grapes?
And so I go, yeah, grapes. I was like, don't do it, dude. Like, they got stuff in them. Like, you're going to lose if you eat those grapes.
Oh my
And the guy
gosh.
lost that match.
Because he ate the grapes. Because he took the grapes.
Because he ate the grapes. And I said, dude, shouldn't have ate the, like, whole crowd was like, his family was loving it. It was very funny.
Dude,
everyone was laughing.
You and we should honestly go to some of these big tournaments, and then we should just set up a camera and literally go live on YouTube or wherever and stream, and we should just commentate some of like the lower level matches. I think it would be hilarious.
I would commentate Josiah's. It would be hilarious.
I would commentate on Josiah's all day. Shoot, like all like the smaller brackets.
My favorite chirping that I got to do was the bronze medal match. So it was Josiah versus another guy that I know from Instagram, totally blanking on his name at the moment, but he plays with a gearbox paddle. And he had messaged me at Nationals like, oh, dude, I'm bummed you didn't like the CX-11. Like, I think gearboxes are great. He plays with the CX-14. And I was like, like, it's all good, whatever. It happens. And so I got to talk to him a little bit. I kept teasing him about gearbox paddles. No, I don't know why I can't think of his name. I totally know it. It's just blanking on me.
Okay.
But in that match, So if he hit it, he hit a ball long. And so it's quiet. And I just go, bro, I didn't even know gearboxes could be hit long. I was like, they're pillows. How'd you even do that? and he's laughing too. Like, he's like, basically, he's just like, Chris, shut up. Are you kidding me right now? And then, Josiah would maybe hit a bad overhead or something and miss. And I'd go like, dude, where was that in Atlanta? Like, why didn't you do that for me? It's like, I just fun stuff that I'd say in the middle.
That's
and it was super funny. I think my favorite line that I used, the guy hitting the gearbox, like, he hit it into the net or something. I was like, dude, any other paddle, you passed him.
Oh my gosh. Probably the gearbox reps wasn't there listening to you. They would have given you hell. Or like the gearbox mob.
There was a gearbox employee that came up to me. He's like, dude, he's like, we saw your review. He's like, it was a bummer he didn't like that paddle. And I was like, oh, I'm so sorry. But I was like, I tell it straight, man. Anytime, if anyone's ever going to question me about not telling the truth, I'm like, dude, just watch some of these reviews. Like, I'm not nice if the paddle's not good. So Nationals was awesome. Love it. If you are ever in the area, you got to go. It is the best pickleball experience you're going to have by a long shot.
For playing, at least. I think spectating MLP still takes the cake.
Yeah, spectating, I would say MLP is still better. The biggest downside of California is in the day, it's really hot. Like, I was getting sunburned. You're getting dehydrated. And then as soon as 5 o'clock hits, you're freezing. Sun is gone behind the mountains. So cold. Like, hoodie, pants, like the whole everything. Sitting in the bleachers to watch the pro games was, oh gosh, you're just so cold.
Ew. Now I know.
Yep. So that was crazy. And then obviously I'm just going to skip over because everyone's heard it a million times. And honestly, people are sick of the topic. But there was the whole Catherine drama. It was kind of crazy to be there live for that because there was just murmurs all over the venue. And then I actually was there when Lee Waters tore her ACL or messed her ACL up. And that was crazy.
R.I.P. Lee Waters 2023.
So if people don't know, she's out for 2023. She's not playing that season at the venue. She was playing with Tyson. She went for like an Ernie Poach thing. I was just there with my camera filming some stuff. And then all of a sudden she's just on the ground. Like, she just starts hopping and like screaming. And then all of a sudden she's just on the ground crying like immediately. So everyone you knew right away, oh man, like it's bad. And then, maybe 20, 25 minutes goes by. She decides she's going to keep playing, which I was shocked. And then maybe 5 points or something goes by and she calls it. She's like, I can't do it. Like, it's, I think they thought maybe Tyson would just take more court or whatever. But if her ACL or whatever was torn, like you're done. Like,
you shouldn't be playing on it anyways.
Yep.
Rough.
So that was unfortunate to see, was sad. But yeah, other than that, got to hang out with a bunch of cool people at Nationals, had a lot of fun. I got to sign my first autographs. That was
signed an autograph?
Kind of fun. I signed 2 autographs.
What?
And they came and watched my singles matches. And I felt really bad after the first one because I was like, oh gosh. I was like, this is really bad. Don't watch this. I'm sorry. It's like, I'm sorry you came to watch me lose.
That's why you were nervous.
No. But yeah, so that's the Nationals recap. And we'll move on to, you wanted to do an emergency podcast episode at Nationals, and I was like, dude, I can't. It's like, there's way too much going on.
It was the PPA MLP merger? I mean, it was just such big news. I felt like, oh man, we should have hopped on it. But
it's definitely worth doing an emergency podcast episode. It was just at Nationals. I had no time for anything.
Yeah, no, it's all good. It's all good. I mean, we can talk about it a little bit now. I'm sure everybody knows about it, but we can share our thoughts about it. And
honestly, kind of glad we waited because it wasn't until basically this last week that any interesting news even came out. So what was your gut reaction when this news came out?
I thought it was a joke. I literally.
Oh, really?
I mean, I dreamed that it would happen. I just didn't imagine it would happen so soon, right? So I thought somebody was just pulling my leg, like somebody was
So
kidding
now,
out.
did you think? I mean, were you happy about it?
I mean, yeah, initially I was happy about it, but also a little skeptical about it. Like, what does this mean? What does this entail? How did this all shake down? Who are the winners and the losers in this deal? Who benefits from it? But I think overall, it's a net positive if you're a pickleball spectator and fan. because now you get to see the top talent get to kind of combine, and there's some unification and solidarity, so you can see them compete against each other again. That's my initial thought going into it.
Well,
yeah.
The unfortunate part is that's probably not going to be true.
Okay, so explain to me. I have some thoughts too, because I reached out and talked to a few people, try to get some more inside info. But I'm sure you're much more well read than I am. So, what juicy details do you have for me, Chris?
So I was keeping up loosely, during our break while everyone was sick and trying to work through some paddle reviews. So I mostly tried to catch up before this podcast episode. So there might be a couple things I'm missing here and there, but I'll just rile off a couple real quick things. One, with this merger, it's going to be $8 to $10 million in prize money. That's insane.
Wow.
It's an absurd amount of money.
Where's all that money coming
to
from? Do you know?
Dude, good question. Good question. They're just printing money like the U.S. government, apparently.
Okay. Okay.
And then they are going to ditch the new format they were going to use for 2023, where they were going to do kind of like a regular tournament. That's gone.
I heard that.
Thankfully, I think that is a good thing that that's gone.
Yes.
They're going to do a Challenger and Premier League. So there's going to be, 48 or...
Yeah, 48 total teams?
I don't
know.
No.
Was it 48 teams? No, 40 players. No, there's 12 teams. I heard there's 12 teams on the top.
Yes, that's what it is. 48 players.
Yeah, and then...
So it's 24 teams, 12 teams in the Premier League, and 12 teams in the Challenger League. So the Challenger is like, you have to work up to the Premier League. The details on what all of that's going to look like, if they're even different, is hazy. But the way I look at it was minor league pickleball, major league pickleball. Now it's Challenger League, Premier League.
Yeah, Challenger League, Premier, and then you have minors feeding into that. I'm sure some pros are not happy about that, because I'm assuming that we're just going to call it the Premier and the Challenger, for this purpose. So the Challenger, I'm assuming, probably does not get as much money as the Premier. So the people who are right around that, like 24, like the top 24, middle, are probably not happy, because they want to go compete in the Premier League, right?
Yep.
Presumably so. And with all that money coming in, they can't be happy about it. And now also with new blood coming in with the PPA merging, right? And some of the PPA women now being able to come in. So some of those maybe middle tiers to the bottom tiers at MLP, maybe they get pushed down. I don't know how they rank, right? How do you rank who's in the top 24 and who's on the bottom 24? How does that shake out?
Exactly. So, and, like you said, with the PPA players coming in, the people who, were in the top 24 for MLP previously, now you're getting shoved out by, at least 12 other players from the PPA. So
right, especially on the men's side, right? Because you got you got the Collins brothers coming in, you got Tyson, you got Jay,
Riley, Matt, Jay. Like, you've got a lot of people.
Right. I think one of the people that I heard that felt like they were getting shafted a little bit was actually Alex Trong, Next Gen Phenom.
Sure.
I got to play with her recently, and she was like, she was a substitute or a alternate for the last MLP, because we saw her at the last MLP, and I saw her recently over this Thanksgiving break, and we talked very briefly about it, and she did mention that. She's like, I feel like I'm being pushed down because of this merger. I kind of got shafted a bit because I worked really hard to get to the spot. But she's not too worried about it. I was like, you shouldn't be worried about it. You have so much upside. You're still young. You're still improving. So young. I get it. Yes.
They're not old like us.
Well, speak for yourself. I'm 19.
Yeah. Okay. Well. That's what the fake ID says.
Okay. All right.
So the biggest shakeup in all of this news is the player cards for the MLP now. And I haven't really gotten to think through how I felt about this, so I guess
what are they?
Will kind of get to... Yeah, so you've got two things. You've got the silver card and the gold card. And basically, you have to be on one of these cards in order to play in the league. So
in the MLP.
Silver in MLP. Yeah, if you're not on one of these, you're not playing in MLP.
Okay.
So the silver is a 2-year contract. You have to play all 6 MLP events each year, and you have to play 5 PPA events. The gold card, you have to play a minimum of 20 PPA events, all 4 majors, and all 6 MLP events for 2 years. And if you do that, you will earn double the prize money at MLP and PPA events.
Wait, you earn double the prize money, so it's essentially a bonus that's being paid out, right? So if you win, then who's paying it? I'm assuming it's PPA.
It depends. Yeah, I think it's coming from the PPA, and it depends who you ask. Some people view it either as now I'm making half as much as I should be, like I'm making less than what I should be, or people view it as I'm getting a bonus on top.
It's effectively you're getting paid less. So I see. This basically incentivizes you to sign up for PPA.
Yeah, I mean it's another way to make you want to play PPA events, and
wow. But that's burnout.
26 events at least.
26 PPA events.
Yeah, because you got to play all 6 MLP events and 20 PPAs.
Oh, okay. So you're counting. Okay, so 26 events total, and 6 of them are
events total.
MLP, the MLP matches, and then 20 just regular PPA matches. Wow. So that's going to cause burnout for sure.
Oh, 100%. I mean, we've already seen a lot of burnout this year, and now you're just going to be, for 2 years, 26 tournaments. At a minimum, you might even do more than that.
Yeah.
Now, I know you will do more than that because Nationals and US Open, right? Like, you're going to play those.
And then you have some APP if you wanted to play them.
Yep.
Wow. Okay. So based off that information, the cards, first of all, how do you get these cards? Like, do you just sign up for them and you just agree?
That's the interesting part. So I can't remember. I was reading it in the article. I should have wrote it down. But basically it said it's going to be based off previous tournament history, duper, and player marketability. And there was one other thing in
player
there.
Marketability?
So essentially it's subjective.
What does that even mean?
Well, Tyson, top tier player marketability.
I mean, yes, but how do you...
It's subjective, for sure.
And who's making those decisions? That's what I want to know.
Yep. So all I'm saying is all the pros who thought social media wasn't important, you're going to change your mind real quick.
Yeah. Guys, come at us if you need help or whatever.
No, don't come at us. We got too much work already. I'm just kidding. Maybe if it was worth it. But yeah, dude, I don't know. I think that's really interesting. I'm sure some people are going to be mad that they didn't get invited to a gold contract. Some people are going to be mad that they're on silver. And if you guys really want a bigger deep dive on this, you can check out the It Feels Right podcast with Adam Stone and Rob Nunnery, because they did a much more in-depth dive on it. They've talked to a lot of the players who are potentially involved in signing this.
And
so they just have more information
themselves. So, they probably have invitations and able to talk to other pros and see what the finer details are about it. But just from what you're telling me here, it, no pun intended, but it doesn't feel right.
Like, Adam Stone would be very proud of you.
Okay. Shout out to Adam Stone. Shout out to Adam Stone. But I don't know. It almost feels like, so I thought this was a good union, but it almost feels like a takeover.
Yes, that's exactly how I feel now. And I'm going to skip ahead a little bit here, but I was very excited because, okay, we have got the merger. We have eliminated the Vibe League becoming a thing. We've got some more unification in the sport. That's awesome. And then gets announced pickleball tournaments and pickleball brackets is merging. And then they're going to be using Duper as the rating system for pickleball tournaments and pickleball brackets. So it's like, everything is finally coming together. And then the other bombshell drops on us.
What?
UTR, the tennis ranking system, has now merged with the APP. So APP will be using UTR, PPA is going to be using Duper, and then you've got the ugly child in the room, USAP, with UTPR. So basically, we have a more scattered rating system than we did before. And on top of that, if I'm recalling, hopefully I'm not recalling this wrong, pretty sure I'm not, but on the It Feels Right podcast, they said that APP is working on making their own team league.
Wow. Okay.
So all that unification we thought we had, just throw it out the door. Who cares about unification when we can just have as many leagues as we want? To me, it was kind of, at first it was very exciting. And now it feels like the PPA kind of owns MLP is the vibe I'm getting.
Even though they don't.
They don't, but it's just starting to feel that way. I know Steve Kuhn just got appointed like player relations manager for the PPA. So like now he's kind of more integrated there. And it feels weird when MLP's whole thing before was fighting for players to do what's best for them and not be exclusive. And
now they're somewhat being exclusive.
Yeah, they're being exclusive basically because
so APP is still the one that feels open. And so it's funny, like we're talking about this because when the news hit, I contacted a few people that I know that kind of is like 1 or 2 degrees separation from, some of the big players at PPA and MLP. And it's funny because the two sides of the story go, I hear from one side that Dundon, owner of a PPA, that he said that he reached out and presented an olive branch of peace towards Steve Kuhn and the MLP. And then I talked to others like, that's not what happened. He created the Vibe League or whatnot, and then it was a strategic business move so that they would have to bring him to the table, and then that he would get equity in MLP. And now that he's gotten equity in MLP, he is basically, forcing them a little bit or forcing their hand a little bit to get what he wants. And I heard that there's still some tension within, even if they're unified, there's still some tension there. But that if he was just open about it or asked like beforehand, they probably would have invited, like Steve Kuhn probably would have maybe invited him into the fold.
Yeah, but they weren't going to ask. They want to own it.
Yeah, exactly. And it's just, I don't know. It's just kind of sad, honestly.
Consistently, it's really weird, right? If you look at other sports, no one really goes, wow, I want things to feel friendly and like all under one umbrella and we're all friends. Like from what I gather in other sports, like things can be pretty cutthroat and very business-like. And the PPA is doing a great job at becoming, like the Premier League, and they're trying to run it like a business. It's just tough when pickleball has been built on so many relationships and community. It feels very foreign or I guess just icky for the sport. But it's like, it's just kind of how it goes. Like, I think if you're going to get the sport to grow at the highest level, like some of these business decisions are just going to come into play, and that's just the way it's going to be.
Yeah. I think it's also just, the product, right? So that you can showcase so people can watch it and view it and spectate. But we have to like always remember that people love pickleball because it is a highly like participatory, like a participation sport. Like you don't just go to these events just to watch the pros. You go because you want to compete and you also want to play. And I just feel like you can't do both very well. I mean, you saw like in PPA Las Vegas, people were complaining about it. And then even just some tournaments and events, the player experience, if you're going there to compete, it's not as great because, they don't have enough manpower to run like a great tournament for you to play at, where they're just focusing on, getting the viewers and the spectators and getting the pros into play. So I feel that it is going to, it's going to branch out that way, right? There's going to be, let's just say, just for like as a thought experiment, that the APP is the place where if you're an amateur or whatnot, or if you want to go compete, you go play as a player, right?
Yeah.
And then maybe PPA, MLP is where you go if you want to spectate some of the highest level players play. So who knows?
Yeah. And I think an interesting dynamic that, again, if you want all the details, just listen to the It Feels Right podcast. I feel like I'm just recapping their podcast now.
Yeah.
But one of the things that I thought they said that was really interesting was December 5th is the cutoff to submit your name for the MLP draft. And so APP, I know they've kind of upped their stipends for 2023. So like if your world pickleball ranking is, if you're top 10, you're getting money for showing up. You're getting some other perks. Like, you're making money. You're winning the events. Like, if you're someone like a JW, you're probably making a good chunk of money. But now it's going to be a really difficult choice because if you're going to play MLP, okay, let's say you get offered a gold card. APP is out of the question. You're not playing any APPs that's going to let you keep your ranking.
Yeah.
You don't have the time. Even if you take the silver card, I mean, you have time, but 11 of your events for the year are locked up for MLP and PPA. You're still not getting a lot of time to keep your rankings up for APP and take your stipend, so that still doesn't feel that great. And if the deadline to submit is December 5th and APP is considering announcing or starting a league in quarter 2 of next year, are you really going to sign 2 years away when this other thing's up and coming? Like, I really wonder how the pros are going to view this because, I mean, as we've seen, signing anything over a year in pickleball feels crazy because of how fast the landscape changes.
Yeah, agreed.
Like,
well, we'll see.
I'm really curious to see what happens, who goes where, how it shakes out, because let's say people they want their APP stipends. Like, I'm just going to make up names. I have no idea what these people are doing, but you've got like a JW, a Deckel, a Paris, and Anna, probably a couple other people. They probably make pretty good money at APPs. Mm-hmm. And now let's say they want to keep it that way. They're gonna try APP. They're gonna wait to see what their league does. Now you take away some top talent from MLP, and now the pool has the same problem. The top people are still not under one umbrella.
So it really
basically more of the same.
More of the same. Yeah, more of the same. You shifted some players from one side to the other, but it wasn't a true unification. So that's what you're saying.
And I think on top of this, the gold card to me feels so the double the prize money, that's awesome. Okay. But unless you are a Ben Johns, an Annalie Waters, a Riley Newman, like, I'm podiuming consistently or winning, that gold card's risky because if you're not winning anything, that double prize money doesn't do you anything, and now you're really locked up. Mm-hmm. So it makes me wonder if you're just outside of that podium range or you're maybe getting 7th or 8th.
Yeah.
I mean, maybe you're not even getting offered the gold card at that point, but would you even consider it? You're not winning.
True. And then you're locked in, so you don't have flexibility, and then you're required to play the PPAs. And then, so, I mean, it'll have to just come down to a cost benefit analysis of money, essentially, because yeah, if I'm close enough and I have to compete with some of these top players that I feel like I'm not capable of beating them just yet, and then I'm leaving money on the table on the APP side where I can go compete, gain my points there, still have flexibility and freedom, and still make my money there. Yeah, I guess we just don't know. We don't know what these contracts look like. We don't know what is going through the minds of some of these top players and how they feel about their chances of winning and podiuming. But also, I just feel maybe not. Maybe it's 26 events in a year. I feel like that's a lot, right?
I think about this, Will. You and I have both discussed kind of what our ideal trip length is, and kind of like when we start feeling fatigued from a trip.
Yeah.
Imagine what we talked about, but you're doing like 30 plus events a year. It would be insane. I don't even know how I would do it.
Right, exactly. Like 30 plus events a year is so much. Like, when do you get to rest? And then also going to these tournaments, they start on Thursday, end on Sunday. But I guess, like, if you don't make it deep in bracket, you can like go out and leave and come back. But also right now, there's technically no off season in pickleball.
Yeah, December is the off season. That's it.
Right, but there's still other tournaments and stuff going on in December. So it's like, when do you get?
It's like a 3-week break which is nothing.
Nothing, right? So you want to take a break. You want to spend time with your family, etc. And then also you want time to practice and whatnot and come back. So yeah, I'm foreseeing some burnout for next year.
Totally. It's really tough. I don't know. Pickleball's in a very interesting situation with that because I really don't know how you would balance that. I just think some of the travel I've been doing, like nationals while I was gone, I felt it was like very hard to keep up with like just day-to-day life tasks, like making sure I'm staying up to date with Sarah and then like trying to get work done. And like, I mean, if pickleball's your job, like that's technically your work, but I don't know. I just feel like it's very hard to stay in touch with everything when you're trying to compete at a high level And like, if you're not a Ben Johns or Tyson, where you've got like maybe some really big sponsorship deals to take care of you, like you're trying to find like any money you can get.
Okay, well, very interesting.
It's crazy stuff.
Crazy
but
stuff.
dude, last thing I kind of want to wrap up with, just because this to kind of summarize a bunch of small things. Probably won't actually be that many things that I'm thinking about it, but dude, pickleball drama is everywhere lately.
Everybody loves the drama.
Dude, I swear, man, everyone feeds off. There's even YouTube channels now that are mostly just focusing on the drama.
Yeah,
and I'm surprised it took this long to make them, because it's a really smart idea.
No, it's a super smart. I was thinking about doing it too, but some people are already doing it really well. I think was it Fifth Shot Media? I think
they're one of them. There's a couple of them.
I just remember Fifth Shot Media because he clips them and then he voiceovers them, and the audio is good, quality's good. Go check him out if you guys haven't already. But
it's everywhere.
Which ones are you talking about? Tell me.
Okay, so obviously we had the whole Catherine thing. Whatever, skip over that. Everyone and their grandma knows about that at this point.
Okay.
Then we had the Tyson and Jay singles match with the illegal serves. Did you ever get to see that?
I saw some of the clips. I remember you told me, but I think I was out of town, and then I eventually saw some clips. But wait, like tell me what happened. What was it? I just know that
basically
Jay served like essentially overhead.
So yeah, basically what happened is first game, really close match. Jay's up like 10-9 or something. And then Tyson hits a really huge serve. Jay hits it out. And then Jay complains, like, dude, like that serve's illegal. There's no way that wasn't, over his waist or whatever. Tyson's serve has always been close. People constantly debate whether it's legal or not. Like every other day, someone's
Ben Johns too, when he's serving big.
Yep, his is really close as well, pushing the limit. And so Jay ends up losing that match. Jay is
pissed.
Very angry in the second match. So to make a point, he serves like head height. Like he's not hitting an overhead, but like he's hitting it and he just cranks that ball. And so first one hits it. They play the point out a little bit, and then the ref goes like, illegal serve, redo it. I think Jay does it again, and then he hits it out. But how the rule worked at the time was if you do an illegal motion, no matter where the ball lands, you replay it. So they kept arguing. Tyson was like, dude, the ball's out. You're really going to let him replay that when he's blatantly serving illegal and the ball was out? And they were going back and forth.
Crazy.
The ref even had to start saying stuff like 10 seconds, players, like, go back to your spot. Like, he was basically just like, go play the game. Like, we're done talking about this. Move on. And I can't remember if Jay did it a third time or not, but the whole game, you could just tell Jay was not in it anymore. He did not care. At one point, you could tell he tried to hit Tyson. Like, they're both in the middle. He just speeds it up really hard. Tyson gets out of the way. Jay was out of it. You could tell he was done.
Dang.
And I thought it was
rule,
funny.
Though.
Yeah, I think they changed it. I don't remember what it is now, but I feel like there might be a penalty if you do enough of them in a row. So that's good. That's how I think it probably should be. Mm-hmm. And I just thought it was funny because I'm like, Jay, you're partners with the guy. You've never, you're going to be in the middle of a match and just go, yeah, ref, like his serve's illegal. Like, obviously he's not going to do that. So
no, not when he's his partner. Of course not.
And I just think it's funny. Obviously, when you're playing singles, like, you're trying to win too. It's like, you don't want to just give the person a pass. But I'm like, dude, you guys have to play like in 2 days. Like, this is
That's
awkward.
So
I don't
funny.
know.
Yeah, I'm sure they worked it out. I'm sure, when you're
I think
competing.
the pros are a lot better at compartmentalizing. When they're on the court, you are not my friend. Yeah. When we are off the court, we can be friends again.
Right. Exactly. But that's such what a weird scenario situation, and really just, I guess, an oversight of the rules. So I'm glad that they amended that. Is that only a PPA thing?
Yeah, it's only a PPA thing.
So in other tournaments, let's say at the APP,
it would be a fault.
So it would be a fault. Like, even if I hit an illegal serve and I hit it out, that's a fault.
Yep. I mean, if you just hit an illegal serve at all, it's a fault.
Oh.
Yeah, so it would have been a side out in APP.
Just like I said before, everything just needs to become a drop serve so that there's no question, because no one's going to be
there's
calling.
No question.
Yeah, there's no question, because, I mean, like, these people who are serving, very close.
Dude, it's going to be like other sports. Like, this is not a direct comparison, but like Deflate Gate in football, where it's like, he only won that championship because that last serve was illegal and the ref didn't call it.
Call it? Oh, okay.
It's gonna be it's gonna become
asterisk.
one of those. Yeah. And there was a couple other things. Leah Jansen, she was in a close match, went to hit an overhead, and then like right as she's about to strike the ball, a fan started yelling, "It's gonna be out! Don't hit it! Don't hit it!" And then there was a whole big like Leah Jansen hit it into the net or hit it out, and then she was asking for a replay for hindrance, and I think she got it. Then there was all these rules debate about whether it should have been a replay. I think it was decided that it shouldn't have been because like player or people in the audience are considered like permanent objects and not a distraction. So it's very weird.
This was against Salome.
Salome.
Yeah. Okay. I think I did see this one, and I think Leia also talked about it with Nunnery
she did.
and Stone. Just explain the situation. Yep. I saw an interview with the head ref that was potentially called
Don.
Yeah, Don after as well, and I think Leia was getting some heat for it. For her, I guess, complaining about it or yelling about it.
I thought it was weird that she was getting like people were mad. I'm like, dude. Are we really going to be okay with people just yelling in the middle of an overhead swing? People kept saying, "Oh, other sports get over it," but the difference that the players have addressed, and I think is valid, is pickleball has typically been a quiet sport. So when it's quiet and it's tight, and then all of a sudden you start yelling, it's like, are we going to start removing fans if they do that, or are we just going to let them yell? Like if I just start showing up, like right in the middle of a server's motion and just yell, "You suck" every point, are we really going to allow that? I understand why it shouldn't be a replay, right?
Yeah.
If I want to plant you in the audience while I'm playing to yell when I'm going to lose a point and then get a replay, you could abuse that system. I get it. But where does that line cross?
Right. Well, that's tough to say. I think it shouldn't have been replayed, and I can see how Leia was super upset about it just because I think in her interview, she said that the match, there was nobody at that match, and it was super quiet the whole time.
Yeah.
And to hear it, it must have been jarring. And I get it.
Yep.
But I don't think it should have been replayed. It happened. You know, if it happened, it happened. It's something you have to deal with, in my opinion, as a competitor, as much as it sucks. But yeah, it shouldn't have been a replay, in my opinion. But I don't fault Leia for being mad at it. I mean, you know, she's a competitor.
No, I'd be so mad if some random dude, like I got two people watching my match and one of them decides to yell.
Yeah. Okay, so what about at MLP? Yeah, what if it happens at MLP? Yeah. Because I think
here's the thing. I mean, I still think it's bad, but it's so rowdy in there that it's slightly more expected, in my opinion.
Yes.
I think it's just the level of expectation is really what it comes down to. At these normal events, it's always so quiet that you're just not ready for it. And I don't think players are used to it. Like if you just said go wild all the time, players would get used to it. They'd get over it, whatever. It's part of the game. Yep. But right now, it's not really part of the game.
Mm-hmm. Okay, so my next question is, do you think it should be part of the game so that if it does happen, like whatever?
I think I'd be okay with it. MLP, it didn't bother me. I think I would be okay with it. It's a little weird because having some tennis background and, you know, growing up watching that a little bit, it feels weird to allow people to do that. It feels like a little disrespectful to the players. Just because, you know, like the tennis and pickleball, it's like the easiest comparison to draw. But like if you watch pickleball or basketball, you're like, dude, the people are doing like the craziest things.
Right, you're watching
here.
that. You're watching like American football, or like football.
Soccer.
I mean, well, like, Zane said it when we talked to him one time. He was like, "There's no reason why pickleball can't be different." Like he says, you can be rowdy.
Yeah.
You can like say crap to me. You know, it doesn't have to be like tennis. And I think some of the top players, I'm sure, I feel like James Ignatowicz also said that and was like, "Yeah, I want it to be different." I feel like
James would thrive on it.
Oh yeah, heck yeah, he would love that shit.
James would blast a forehand down the line after someone he said he sucks or something, and then just look him straight in the eyes, like, "Tell it to my face, say it to me again."
Yeah.
So, Yeah, I don't know. I think I'd be fine with it if it did. It's just you got to pick one way or the other. Don't do this weird in between.
Yeah. Well, I do feel for Leia in that situation, but also at the same time, there's part of me that feels like I don't. But also shout out to Leia for just like openly talking about it after the fact.
Yeah.
I felt like some people were just giving her heat for it, and I think she took it well and explained herself well.
Yeah.
So
I agree.
Yeah.
Well, dude, I think that's pretty much everything I got. I think this was a good episode to be back on. We are not doing this again, except for maybe Christmas.
No, we'll have some recorded up for Christmas before then, for sure.
All right, I'm totally down with that. So thanks for listening, guys. It's good to be back. We will hopefully continue the weekly schedule coming up here. And thanks for listening, and we'll catch you in the next one.
Catch you in the next one. Peace.